Hey, so today I'm going to give you guys a template that you can write your Common App essay with in 10 to 15 minutes. Note that this is a first draft though, so it's not going to be perfect, but at least it's something that you can work with. Hi, this is me from the future. I just want to say that if you want to have your essay finished by the end of this video, please follow every direction that I say. If you don't, you can just skip to the parts where I explain why template is the way it is and certain things. I just want to put a disclaimer that if you don't write when I tell you to write, you're not going to finish the essay. The main problem with people writing the Common App essay is that they don't actually start writing. So in this video, I suggest you to please start writing the essay. Okay, I'll let you get back to the video. I just want to get some things out of the way just so you guys know what sort of things we're looking for. In terms of what your essay can be about, is it can be something in terms of a band trip or anything like an academic conference. It has to be something that you've done for a minimum of like 1 year that you can reference your activity list with. Meaning when the admission officers look at your essay, they can look at the activity list and the essay and see that the essay is one of the activities. And keep in mind guys, the best essay usually is the one that takes the least amount of brain power to think of. So don't put too much effort into thinking how you can show your voice, because it's gonna come naturally as you start writing more and more essays. So here's the general overview for a template. The first paragraph should be your story, the second paragraph should be comparison paragraph 1, and the third paragraph should be a shorter story plus another comparison paragraph. So there are no limits to how many sentences are in each paragraph. You can be like me, and I had like paragraphs with only one sentence, but when I refer to paragraphs in this template, I just mean chunk of text. So you can gauge yourself how many sentences are in a paragraph just by like simple math calculations, I guess. Each chunk of text should be like 1/3. So your storyline should not take over 1/3 of the total text. Just keep that in mind. So before we head into the first paragraph, first let's talk about the prompt. Personally, I feel like what the prompt is doesn't matter that much. I believe you should first write the essay and then find the prompt and then try to match the essay to the prompt. However, if you're the type who cannot do that, just choose any prompt on random. To be honest, I chose the last one, the one where you can write about anything. The only caveat is you need to answer a question. So like for example, the question could just be, what was the most stressful time of your life? Or what was the most stressful time in the past year? It doesn't matter, as long as it answers the question and as long as it shows values of who you are. Okay, and let's do that right now. Let's do the first paragraph, the contextualized story. Now you might be wondering why, what is this for? I'll explain everything later. Do it first and then I'll explain. So pull out your phone, set a timer for 5 minutes and press go. I want you to pull out your Snapchat memories or your camera roll history, and I want you to just look through the years that you were in high school and find different events. List these events down on the Google Doc. It doesn't matter if you feel like the event is like really weird, and don't worry if it doesn't feel special. Just write down these different events. If you do not take pictures of stuff, this will be more difficult for you, but just start thinking about your awards, where you got them, maybe the process of getting them. If you ever thought of a moment in your past that you can change, that's a good starting point as well. So start writing those and pause this video. Okay, good job. Now we get to the fun part where we're going to start crossing off these different ideas. Again, no love stories. No food, so the barbecue thing would be off the list. 3, no mental health crises or ethnic stuff, since it's a little bit risky, so I wouldn't recommend for you to do that. You can go ahead and try it if you feel like it really represents you, but I really don't recommend doing that. And 4, no traveling. Now, while you do the crossing out, I will say that family businesses are a pretty good way to start, because it just shows a lot of the traits and values that the colleges would like to see. Now, if you can, narrow it down to 3 topics. And I want you to pick the first one, because the first one is the one that you went over many times and you still didn't eliminate it. So the first one that's not crossed off, choose that one. Now I want you to set a timer for 5 minutes again, and I want you to start listing the events of that particular scene, as many details as you can. It doesn't need to look good, okay? Just get imaginative, get creative, and start writing. Okay, I'm assuming that you paused the video. If you didn't pause the video, or I will fly to your house. So before we get to the next section, I can finally explain to you what you just did. In my opinion, there's two main types of essays. There's story type essays and there's monologue type essays. Story type essays are very creative. It's the thing that you just wrote. It's creative writing. It's telling a story with all the details, with all the hooks, the tension, whatever, if you want to get technical. And a monologue style would be something more of a detached version. I think there were AP Lit terms for these, but in a story type essay, you only know limited amounts of information of what that person is thinking, in my opinion. So it's kind of like limited omniscience. I think that's the name. And for the monologue style, you know everything. Because with monologue styles, you are saying every single thing that comes to your mind. A good example would be if you were in a room and let's say you had different objects. Let's say this highlighter, let's say this timer, right? You can say each one of these things represent a different quality about you, which ties to a different memory about you. So for example, this could be the time when you went to a beach and you saved a kid from being pinched by a crab. It's a really bad example. You might think it's story type, but it's not. For story-like essays, you would describe a lot more scenery. So for example, you would say, oh, there's a bookshelf next to me in this great room of silence. Of course, story type will hook readers more though, because a lot more people just do monologue. So this is why I've decided that the best approach to these essays is to first introduce a story, hook them in, and then explain things. In addition, the reason why we have two comparison paragraphs is because we're using the same criteria that we use for the activity list. I'll buy only 3 of them instead of the 5 that are available. The 3 criteria that are needed for this Common App essay are: number 1, it needs to tell a story; number 2, it needs to show consistency; and number 3, it needs to show your impact. And in order to show your impact, you need to come out of your story mode and directly state it via monologue style. And I made a list of 5 questions that if you are stuck, you can answer the paragraph using these 5 questions. Number 1, why was this emotionally stressful for you? How was it impactful, or why was it important to you? Number 2, the consequences of the goal not succeeding. Number 3, how badly do you want this goal to succeed? In here, you can kind of show your consistency if you would like. Number 4, did you lead other people in the team, or did you go through all of this solo? Number 5, you need to contrast this situation with another person. In laying terms, this is like foiling. So you need to foil with another character to show you are in trouble, to put into perspective why this situation is so threatening to you, or something like that. I don't know how dramatic you want to make it. So with these 5 things in mind, I want you to pause this video and write 8 to 10 sentences or something like that. Set the timer for 5 minutes and go. Just start writing. Okay, I'm assuming you guys have finished that. If you haven't, please finish that before moving on to the next one. You need to have a 2 to 3 sentence story, because if you have any more than that, then it gets too long. 2 to 3 sentence story to compare with the first story. Again, this is all about comparisons. Without putting stuff into perspective, the readers don't know what you're going through. The readers don't understand you. They don't even know you. They just barely saw your name like 5 minutes ago, and now they're reading a whole essay about your life story. So you need to put into perspective who you are and why the situation was so threatening to you. I keep saying threatening. It doesn't have to be threatening, but how this situation is so impactful for you. And to do that, you need to have another situation, another event that you can relate to show that you grew, to show that you had some growth. If you need to, 4 to 5 sentences maximum. It's best if you are in the same scene, if you are in the same scenario. So like if you were in the same debate team conference the following year and something changed, something was different. How did your mindset grow? And keep in mind, you don't have to be victorious at the end of this. Like that doesn't matter. You don't have to win first in the second year of your debate conference when you won second in the first year of debate conference. So we're at the point where you need to choose a few adjectives, because choosing these few adjectives, you can make sure that your whole essay reflects those few adjectives / noun about you. Like they can say you are a leader, you have leadership, or you can say that you're courageous. Whatever the adjective you want to use, you need to pick 2 to 3 and make sure that it resonates throughout your essays. And the easiest way to quantify this is to bring your essay to a teacher and ask them, what values does this essay say about me? If they cannot directly tell you, oh, this shows that you're very persistent, this shows that you're a great leader, that means your essay is not clear enough, and you need to go back and cut down on the stuff that's too wordy and add in information to show that you are a leader, to show that you are persistent, to show that you have passion, whatever the adjective it is you want to use. Is it an adjective or a noun? You just want that to be very clear. And this is also a very good time for you to look back at the prompts that you have chosen. And if you have not chosen the prompt, choose one now. And look at your essay and look at the prompt and match the essay to the prompt. You need to rewrite the whole thing. You don't have to do that now. But in the future, when you come back to this essay, I want you to rewrite the essay to the prompt. And the easiest way to do that is to just summarize your own essay. It's a really good idea for you to summarize your own essay because it condenses the information and allows you to add more. And when you add more information, that's better because people don't like reading long-winded essays. They want concise essays. When you rewrite your essay by just rewording your own essay, you condense the essay by a lot. Thank you guys so much for watching. This is all for this video. I love all of you. Please don't subscribe. I'll see you in the next video. Bye!